Welcome to On-Demand Module 1. Start the year off right with National Geographic Reach for users in Texas. This is the first in a series of on-demand modules to help you get started using National Geographic Reach, your K-5 solution for Texas ESL classrooms. My name is Rosalind Wall, National Consultant for National Geographic Learning, and I'll be your presenter for this session. Reach is built to cover 100% of the English Language Proficiency Standards, or ELPS, and designed to support the TEKS in language arts, science, and social studies, all with a focus to integrate instruction in language, literacy, and content for English language learners in Texas. As I said earlier, this is the first in a series of on-demand training modules to help prepare you to use Reach in your ESL classroom. After you complete this module, you will want to view the remaining modules depending on which grade level you teach or which Reach levels you'll be using. We also have additional recorded webinars for our phonics and newcomer programs to support implementation success. Now that your district has chosen Reach, you may be asking yourself a few questions. What does Reach have to offer to support student success and teaching success? What specialized strategies are available in Reach to support academic success for English language learners? What is the instructional path for each unit? How do I customize Reach lessons to fit my schedule? And how do I access the online resources? During this session, I will help you answer these questions by giving you an overview of the program and of all of the teacher and student materials that are part of the Texas ESL adoption. I will also showcase the specialized strategies in Reach that will help your English language learners succeed, including the multi-level strategies, academic language frames, and more. I'll walk you through the instructional path for each unit, including our consistent path to teach, model, practice, and apply. Then, I will share how you can customize your own lesson plans using the Reach Online Lesson Planner. And finally, I'll show you how you can set up your own account to access both the student and teacher online resources at myngconnect.com. Let's get started. Reach is correlated to the English Language Proficiency Standards, which I will refer to as ELPS throughout this session, and the grade level English Language Arts and Reading Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, which I will refer to as the ELR TEKS throughout this session, and grade level content area TEKS in social studies and science. All correlations can be found in each grade level Teacher's Edition in a tabbed section at the back, and in each Reach student book. All of the ELPS, ELR TEKS, and Content TEKS are also listed at point of use in the Teacher's Edition, which you will see as we move into the instruction. It is important to know that Reach will prepare your English language learners for success on STAR in all 3 reading readiness reporting categories, along with the 3 categories for STAR writing. I will point out how Reach prepares English language learners for success on STAR as we go through this session. I'd like to introduce you to the Reach author team, which is made up of leading experts in the field. Our authors include Nancy Fry, PhD, our expert in reading instruction, content area reading, and diverse student support. Deborah Short, PhD, our expert in the area of content-based ESL instruction. Noni Lasso, PhD, our expert in reading development and reading difficulties of children from linguistically diverse backgrounds. Sylvia Thompson, PhD, our expert in reading intervention for ELLS and bilingual literacy. Jennifer Turner, PhD, our expert in multicultural literature and reading instruction in urban elementary schools. And Lada Kratke, our expert in bilingual education. Now that you know who the authors are, let's take a few minutes to learn about some of their research. As I just mentioned, Reach has been designed by experts in language and literacy education. On the Reach in Action Professional Development website that can be accessed on MyNG Connect, you will find author monographs and podcasts where each program author presents best practices for teaching that are grounded in current research. There is a study guide for each corresponding podcast and monograph that you can use in your professional learning communities at your campus to foster professional dialogue around each topic to support a successful implementation with Reach. The next slide will take you directly to the Reach in Action Professional Development website page you just saw on the previous slide. The session will pause automatically to allow you time to follow the steps on this slide as you strengthen your foundational knowledge in language and literacy instruction for English language learners. First, choose one author monograph to read. Listen to the corresponding podcast. Download the study guide so that you can take notes. And afterwards, make sure that you share what you learned with another colleague. If you have a dual language model in place in your district, we have some great resources that you can access to learn about the role of Reach in a dual language setting. The first defines the role of Reach in a dual language setting, and the second defines implementing Reach in a dual language setting. These resources can be found on our Texas microsite at the address listed on the slide. They are also available on the Downloads tab on the left side of your screen. Pause this session and read these powerful tools to help you get started if you plan to implement Reach in a dual language setting. Now, let's take a look at the engaging student materials. At grades 1 through 5, each student will have their own student anthology with 2 books at grade 1. At the kindergarten level, students will receive 16 copies, 2 per unit, of the Read Together student books. All of these books contain rich National Geographic content to support the language, literacy, and content instruction in Reach. In case you don't have student books in front of you, take a look at these paired reading selections from Reach, Grade 3, a beautiful narrative poem, An Island Grows, and a National Geographic exclusive photo essay, Volcano Views. We know the importance of using paired readings to allow students to read and think across genres, which aligns to the STAR reading and readiness categories 1 and 2. With Reach, students will read a wide variety of genres and have many opportunities to understand and analyze across these genres. One of the most valuable resources are our National Geographic Explorers. In the photo essay, Volcano Views, pictured on the right, students will be able to make a direct connection with the poem An Island Grows, on the left, to an actual explorer in the field. Students have an opportunity to travel into a volcano with a real National Geographic explorer. Here is another example of the paired readings from grade 1, where we pair a National Geographic exclusive science article titled Turtles, From Eggs to Ocean, with a wonderful award-winning story, Ruby in Her Own Time. These reading selections will really keep your students engaged and also provide the rigorous instruction needed for academic success. Students will also have access to materials online on our website, MyNG Connect. Here's a quick summary of what's available. First, student editions, which are electronic versions of the Reach Student Anthology and of the Reach into Phonics student books. Students have online access to everything in these student books, along with the ability to highlight text, post notes, access the keyword glossary to support vocabulary development, and more. My Vocabulary Notebook is a personalized dictionary that students can use to collect information about newly acquired vocabulary and expand their understanding of these words. This tool integrates media resources to reinforce and extend word knowledge and includes research-based word learning strategies in a 21st century medium. The digital library includes Language Builder picture cards, access to video clips and images, all with an easy-to-use search feature. And there are many different games to enhance the acquisition of language and vocabulary. To learn more about these powerful online resources, please make sure you view the Reach On-Demand Module 1A. This module is a short video tour that provides more details about online resources. Now that you know about the student materials, let's take a look at the engaging classroom interactives for both teachers and students. First, the Sing With Me language songs big books. These engaging songs and chants create risk-free environments for trying out new language. As you can see in this example from Grade 3 Sing With Me Language Songs Big Book, these songbooks include language frames to provide valuable assistance when learning language functions. This is just one example of the language-rich, focused instruction that Reach supports TELPAS progress for English language learners to advance in language proficiency. Teamwork activities are also available across the grade levels. These activities boost language and content learning in learning stations and are also correlated to the science and social studies TEKS. Continuing on with more classroom interactives, at the kindergarten level and grades 1 and 2, the big books inspire learning and discovery and promote engagement. The preview pages in each book allow teachers to introduce the genre and characters. These books also front-load instruction for the reading strategy instruction in each unit. And at the kindergarten level, the vocabulary builders in CD provide opportunities for students to engage with the big question and content in each unit to stimulate oral language development to support TELPAS progress. Now, let's move on to the flexible teaching resources that each teacher will receive. The Teacher's Edition is your complete resource for planning instruction and assessment. Both volumes 1 and 2 are also available online on MyNG Connect. The Reach Practice Masters are available as Blackline Masters so you can copy whatever you need for instruction. An annotated edition provides answers and models of student responses. At grades 1 through 5, the ExamView CD-ROM includes question banks of all part and unit tests with editing capability, a test wizard to create your own tests, and multiple versions of the same test. You can also print your own tests and answer sheets. Reach teachers will also receive integrated phonics resources that will deliver systematic and scaffolded instruction in phonemic awareness, phonics, and high-frequency words. The Alpha Chant Kit is for use at the kindergarten level. There is a Reach into Phonics Kit for grade 1, a Reach into Phonics Kit for grade 2, and a Reach into Phonics Kit for grades 3 through 5. We have a recorded webinar available for each phonics kit that you can view and listen to if you want to go deeper into the instruction to support implementation. For newcomers, In the USA e-Kit for students in grades 2 through 5 is designed to develop essential language and literacy skills for newcomers, including beginning language, survival vocabulary, and the basic building blocks of literacy for newly arrived and pre-literate students. There's also a recorded webinar available for this powerful tool that you can view and listen to if you want to go deeper into the instruction to support implementation. As a teacher, you will also have access to Reach materials online on the MyNG Connect website. Here's a quick summary of what's available. First, there are teacher e-editions for Reach and Reach into Phonics. These have embedded links to all of the resources you need right at point of use on each page, including the build background videos, e-visuals, MP3 files for all songs, assessment handbook pages, and practice masters. Just like the Student e-edition, you can highlight and post notes right on your Teacher Edition pages. The online lesson planner will allow you to easily create or customize plans and includes a variety of ready-to-go plans for dual language models and any time frame from 20 minutes a day to 90. This plan will also track and report TEKS and ELPS standards coverage. The presentation tool allows teachers to project student e-editions, resources, build background videos, and any of the e-visuals using your interactive whiteboard. The digital library includes language builder cards, access to video clips, and National Geographic images. All of the REACH assessment tools are available online, including part and unit tests, rubrics, reteaching resources, and more. If you have a lot of leveled books in your classroom already, you will definitely want to check out the REACH Leveled Book Finder. This will help you link the leveled books that you already have on your campus from a variety of core and supplemental reading programs to the content-based themes in REACH. If you have newcomers in your class, you can access the In the USA Newcomer Kit by clicking on the Resources tab. The Teacher's Edition, Student Edition, Vocabulary Picture Cards, and Practice Masters are all available to support instruction. And last, but certainly not least, the REACH in Action Professional Development website, which is where you went to access this on-demand training module. The author monographs, podcasts, classroom observation tools, and other resources are the perfect tools to use in professional learning communities at your campus to support the fidelity of implementation with REACH. Please make sure that you view the REACH on-demand modules 1A and 1B to learn more about these powerful online resources for teachers. These modules are a short video tour that provide additional details about these online resources. There are some great resources in your REACH Teachers Edition that you will want to review to help you get started with a successful implementation. The great news is that these resources are also available online on MyNG Connect. So even if you don't have your Teachers Editions yet, you can get started with these powerful tools. The Teaching Routines and Strategies section includes research-based instructional routines that are simple learning procedures that follow consistent steps. There are vocabulary routines like this one that's used every time new academic vocabulary is introduced in REACH. There are writing routines, like this power writing routine that develops writing fluency and builds stamina needed for writing on-demand, on-state tests. Cooperative learning structures that are perfect for use to promote academic talk in the classroom, supporting the acquisition of academic content and language, all linked to ELPS. And some great language development resources, including the stages of language acquisition, language transfer supports, phonics transfer charts, and more. Another great resource that you will want to make sure that you review in your Teacher's Edition starts on page R4. This section includes the sentence stems and activities, as you can see on this slide. This section includes all of the English Language Proficiency Standards, the ELPS, the language frames that teachers can use to provide access to these standards for students at all proficiency levels, and teaching strategies and techniques that can be used. These academic language frames are also at point of use in your Teacher's Edition, and you will see them in action when you attend the REACH on-demand modules 2, 3, and 4, and when we dive into grade-specific instruction. If you have a REACH Teacher's Edition in front of you, turn to any page that maps out the instruction for a lesson, like you see on this slide from the Grade 3 REACH Teacher's Edition. A key feature that I want to point out for you are supports that are right there on the Teacher's Edition. Notice the ELA, ELR, TEKS, ELPS, and Content TEKS in the Objectives box that are listed in blue on the left-hand side. They are also available at point of use throughout all lessons, and also listed at the bottom of each page. You will see these on every Teacher's Edition page for all grade levels, K through 5. And as we go through any REACH Teacher's Edition, you will also see that the lessons provide many great supports for you, including multiple opportunities to differentiate your instruction based on the needs of your students at all proficiency levels, beginning, intermediate, advanced, and advanced high. There are academic language frames that provide multi-level support to help students organize their thoughts and express their ideas using academic vocabulary. These language frames provide support for students who articulate their ideas and can be differentiated with more structure as needed. When appropriate, Spanish cognates are listed at point of use to support vocabulary development, and multi-level strategies are available in all lessons to provide differentiated strategies for students at each proficiency level. If there are issues with language transfer, they are highlighted at point of use, and newcomer support is referenced when applicable. To learn more about these supports, read Dr. Deborah Short's author monograph on scaffolding, titled "Extend Your Students' Reach and Move Them Towards Independence." Now that you have a better understanding of the teacher and student materials, let's dive into the organization of the units of REACH. Consistency is key in REACH, both in the lesson structure with how the units are organized and across all REACH levels, making it easy for any teacher to follow. There are 8 units per level, with content-based units focusing on grade-level science or social studies content. If you had a chance to read Dr. Deborah Short's author monograph titled "Base Your ESL in the Content Areas," you know the importance of these content-based units for your students. Each unit in grades 1 through 5 follows the same instructional path. You will always begin with a unit launch to build background for the unit, with a big question to set the stage. Moving on, instruction is broken down into 2 parts. Each of those 2 parts include a main selection and a companion selection. One of the 2 main selections will always be nonfiction, with each unit always having a National Geographic exclusive selection, just like you saw earlier with the examples I shared from grades 1 and 3. Within each unit, each lesson builds on prior lessons to reinforce and extend the information students are learning and the language skills that they're acquiring. Within Part 2, students will work on the writing project. And each unit ends with a unit wrap-up. The instruction at the kindergarten level is very similar. There are also 8 units per level, with content-based units focusing on kindergarten science or social studies content. Each unit in kindergarten follows the same instructional path. You will always begin with a unit launch to build background for the unit, with a big question to set the stage, just like grades 1 through 5. Instruction is then followed by a read aloud with a big book to focus on the genre and build background for the unit and build comprehension. Moving on, instruction is broken down into 2 parts. Both parts include focused instruction to develop phonological awareness and phonics, develop language and academic vocabulary, and integrate authentic reading and writing instruction, all focusing on kindergarten ELR TEKS and the ELPS. And each unit has a writing project and ends with a unit wrap-up. To help with lesson planning, another useful tool that you have in your Teacher's Edition is the Unit Planner. This planner is from Unit 7 in the Grade 3 Teacher's Edition. At a quick glance, you can see that the unit launch on the left-hand side and the unit wrap-up on the lower right-hand corner. Notice all of the specific skills for this unit in each part, 1 and 2, with the headings at the top focusing on language, vocabulary, reading, writing, along with learning stations and review assessment. These planner pages will highlight the specific skills you will teach in this unit, along with those that are tested. Each time you see a black circle with a white T, that means that it's a tested skill. Now let's take a quick look at how we launch this instruction in each unit. I'll be using examples from grades 3, grade 1, and kindergarten, but rest assured, if you focus on the purpose of each lesson rather than the specific content, you'll be able to easily apply what you learn to the level you'll be using in your classroom, because each unit follows the same instructional path. As I mentioned earlier, each unit begins with a unit launch. The goal of the unit launch is to build background and set the stage for learning. Take a look at the image on the slide. That comes from the Grade 3 student book and a unit titled Blast, Crash, Splash. Think about these questions as you look at the visual. What do you think students will learn in this unit? And what makes you think that? Questions just like this are used with students in the first step of the unit launch to preview and predict, set the stage for learning, activate prior knowledge, and begin the process of building background. The next step is to introduce the big question for the unit, which in this case is, what forces can change Earth? Then you will build background by playing one of the National Geographic Build Background videos and discussing the content in that video. After discussing the video, students then share what they already know about this topic with a hands-on activity that you see pictured in the lower right-hand corner of the slide. As you can see, all students can be involved as you launch each content-based unit, even your beginners. Well, what are big questions? Big questions help spur ongoing student discussion and dialogue and develop high levels of academic talk. Big questions help set authentic purposes for reading. They have no single, simple, or predetermined answers. They provide students with the opportunity to respond verbally, artistically, dramatically. And they link all of the reading and content instruction together. Within each unit, there is a general big question that encompasses the entire unit, and there are two sub-questions, one for each part in the unit. For example, if our big question is what forces can change Earth, our sub-questions for each part are why are we fascinated by volcanoes and what gives a tsunami its power. As you can see, all of the questions are tightly connected and unify the unit to a common theme. Students will be engaged with these big questions throughout the entire unit. As you can see on this chart from a Grade 3 Teacher's Edition showing that the big question is introduced in the unit launch, with many opportunities throughout the unit to continue discussing the big question. Not only do these big questions align with the ELPS, but they also encourage English language learners to think critically about new ideas and concepts, express their ideas, and inquire about their world. In kindergarten, first and second grade, the Big Book instruction immediately follows the unit launch. Let's take a quick look at the instruction at grades 1 and 2. This Big Book lesson is a one-time lesson that begins with a preview of the Big Book, allowing students to relate to their own personal experiences and relate back to the unit launch. Students will have an opportunity to preview the book and make predictions. This example is from first grade and introduces how to read a question book. And from the pictures you see in the Big Book, this content-based unit focuses on how animals grow and change. The Big Books are also used to build comprehension by front-loading the reading strategies that students will be working on throughout the unit. Another great support when using these Big Books are the strategies that are provided in the Teacher's Edition to help shelter the story language as necessary and to provide access to the English language learners at all language levels. Strategies are provided in the column on the left, along with specific examples on the right-hand side. We will delve into this instruction in more detail in the On-Demand Module 3, Teaching Success for Reach, grades 1 and 2. The unit launch in kindergarten is very similar to the unit launch in first and second grade, with a few differences. The Big Book introduces the big question before tapping students' prior knowledge and builds background for the unit concept. The unit launch at the kindergarten level also includes some new at school instruction that helps develop students' social and interpersonal skills. Look at these great examples that help say hello, ask questions, and ask for directions. We will delve into this instruction in more detail in On-Demand Module 4, Teaching Success for Reach, Kindergarten. Now that you have a better understanding of how to launch a unit with Reach, let's take a quick look at the instructional path for grades 1 through 5. As I mentioned earlier, instruction in each unit is broken down into two parts after the unit launch. Each of these two parts include paired reading selections, a main selection, and a companion selection. The example on this slide comes from grade 3 and includes a narrative poem and a National Geographic exclusive photo essay. Using paired selections in Reach supports all students so that they can understand and analyze across genres, which is a key emphasis on STAR. Within each part, there are 10 days of instruction. Let's take a look at the Teacher Edition planner pages to see how this instruction is laid out. Day 1 begins with introducing the academic language with instruction in the first of 2 language functions that students will learn in this part of the unit. After the introduction of the first language function, students learn the content vocabulary and a literary analysis skill or text structure. Day 2 introduces more academic language and begins with the introduction of a grammar skill, academic vocabulary, and a reading strategy. Day 3 builds academic language and introduces students to the second language function. It has them working on expanding their word knowledge with focused instruction on the reading strategy. Reading the selection continues on Day 4, while students continue to build academic language. Students will also think and respond to the text that they're reading. On Day 5, students continue to build academic language, beginning with a listening and speaking lesson before moving on to applying word knowledge, rereading, and summarizing or comparing. At the bottom, you can see that students will have daily writing and many opportunities each day to integrate, connect instruction throughout each day. Moving on to the instruction for days 6 through 10, students expand academic language starting on Day 6, where they start instruction with the companion selection, using the same language function they first worked on in Day 1. Expanding academic language continues on Day 7 with grammar and vocabulary instruction and involves students rereading the companion selection. Days 8 and 9 involve application of academic language, where students working on their oral language skills through a theme theater or an oral language project. And if purchased, this is also the time to work with small groups of students with the leveled books and, of course, leveled writing. And finally, on Day 10, it's time to review and assess what's been taught in this part of the unit. And just like days 1 through 5, students will have daily writing and many opportunities to integrate content instruction throughout each day. All of the instruction in REACH has been mapped out for you in the REACH Online Planner. We have ready-to-go plans for 20, 30, 40, 60, and 90-minute plans for use in a dual language model, along with content and literacy focus plans. To learn more about the REACH Online Planner, please make a note to view REACH On Demand Module 1B, which is a short video tutorial that will show you how to create your own plans, share plans, print plans, and more. In REACH Every Day, across all grade levels, K through 5, we begin with Language of the Day. Take a look at these examples from a unit at grade 3. What do you notice about these opportunities for oral language development? You can see that they're all science or social studies based. They are linked to the big question in the unit, and they increase with more detail, with the key goal to develop students' ability to use academic language in talking about content area topics. With REACH, students are engaged in academic talk each and every day. To learn more about the opportunity of academic talk and the importance and instruction in REACH, read Dr. Noni Lasso's author monograph titled Turn Up the Volume on Academic Talk. As you move into the instruction in REACH at your own grade level, you will notice that each lesson is consistently organized in the following steps. Teach, where the teacher explains what is to be learned. Model, where the teacher models the skill students are expected to learn. Practice, where students practice the skill with support. And apply, where students apply the skill on their own. This process gradually releases responsibility to students with the scaffolding and support that students need for academic success. You will see this in all of the REACH lessons, kindergarten through grade 5. To learn more about this model, read Lada Krotke's author monograph titled Make Every Minute Count. Let's take a moment to see this Teach Model Practice Apply model in action with one of the first lessons in the instructional plan that you will teach. On Day 1, in grades 1 through 5, you'll always begin with the introduction of a language function. Here's an example from grade 3. Using the student anthology, you begin the learning process with Teach Model Step by teaching the students what the language function is and modeling how it works. In this case, our language function is Tell an Original Story. Go ahead and read the poem A Scary Ride to yourself. This poem is also included in the Language Songs Big Book in a big book format and also as an MP3 file on MyNG Connect so that you always have an audio model to use with students when you're teaching the language function. These e-visuals can be projected on an interactive whiteboard while you model the language function. Language frames are built right into the student book as as well. They're right at the point of use for students so that they can use them when they're retelling the poem. Then it's time for students to practice and apply what they've learned. Here, they tell an original story of their own using a picture that they created in the unit launch lesson. Teachers use the academic language frames that are shown here that differentiate instruction for this language function for students at all levels, beginning, intermediate, advanced, and advanced high. The Teach, Model, Practice, and Apply model is included with all skill lessons in REACH, and it provides the explicit instruction that students need, leading to student success. When it comes time to teach vocabulary, it's impossible to cover or teach all the words students need to learn, so which words should we teach? The authors of REACH chose high-impact academic words that are required for comprehending content and concepts. REACH focuses on teaching 3 sets of high-impact words. First, content vocabulary. The content words in REACH correspond with the unit's theme and are classified by subject area. They're central to effective standard-based instruction. Next, general-purpose academic words are also taught explicitly in REACH. These can be thought of as delivery words, the words that surround or are used to deliver the content. Examples of these words include balance, evidence, and solution. And lastly, classroom vocabulary. These are important words that are specific to classroom procedures and skill instruction that are essential for students to know. Examples include sequence, which is a key word when focusing on the skill main idea, and when teaching the reading strategy, making inferences. Go ahead and pause this session so that you can read Noni Lasso's author monograph, Focus Deeply on Words That Matter, to help you get started with your implementation of REACH. Now that you know the types of words that are taught in REACH, let's look at how those words are taught. Across all grade levels, students using REACH will be immersed in vocabulary instruction with frequent and varied opportunities to acquire and use these new vocabulary words and vocabulary strategies. Now, look at a page from the student anthology where the academic vocabulary words are introduced. What built-in supports do you see that will provide access for students at all levels? Again, we have photographs, diagrams, just like the word pressure, but you also see the part of speech, pronunciation, and a student-friendly example that is contextualized in a sentence. And since the goal with REACH is to get students engaged in academic talk, we provide structured opportunities to talk together in all lessons, just like these opportunities when we introduce vocabulary. As students move through each unit in REACH, they will be immersed with these words as they expand and share their word knowledge. They'll learn vocabulary strategies and review these words prior to assessment. We will go into more detail with the vocabulary instruction in REACH, on-demand module Teaching Success for grades 3 through 5, 1 and 2, and kindergarten. Now let's talk about comprehension. REACH focuses on 7 reading strategies to promote comprehension: plan and monitor reading, determine importance, ask questions, visualize, make connections, make inferences, and synthesize. Each unit will focus on one of these reading strategies, and in the final unit at each grade level, instruction focuses on when and how to select reading strategies, promoting independent readers. REACH prepares your English language learners for success on the STAR with many opportunities to understand and analyze a variety of literary texts. We will go into more details with the reading strategy instruction in the REACH On-Demand modules Teaching Success for grades 3 through 5, 1 and 2, and kindergarten. If you're interested in learning more about the reading strategy instruction, pause this session and read Sylvia Thompson's author monograph, Build Strategic Thinking. Moving on to writing, REACH prepares English language learners for writing success by capitalizing on the interaction of oral language development in the REACH and writing development in Texas. We all know the importance of preparing our English language learners for writing success with the accountability that measures in place with TELPAS and with STAR. REACH will prepare your English language learners for success prior to when you need to collect the writing samples from each student, and on the STAR with what is expected in all 3 reporting categories: composition, revising, and editing. Let's see how that's done. The scaffolded instruction in Reach for language, literacy, and content will prepare your English language learners for success in writing as well. You've learned about the importance of academic talk earlier when we focused on vocabulary instruction. That same talk is essential when it comes to writing to connect oral and written expression, because talk is essential in writing. If time permits, pause this session and read Nancy Fry's author monograph From Oral to Written Expression to learn more about the writing instruction in Reach. When you attend the Teaching Success On Demand modules for Reach for Kindergarten, grades 1 and 2 and 3 through 5, we will focus on all of the writing instruction listed on this slide that will prepare your students for academic success. In addition to all of the daily writing opportunities, there are writing projects that are designed specifically for your students. Each level of Reach has 8 writing projects, 1 per unit, with each project focusing on one writing mode or form, as you can see here with the examples from grade 3. Each writing project will focus specifically on teaching one writing trait, including focus and coherence, organization, development of ideas, voice and style, and written conventions. But in every writing project, instruction for each step of the writing process is included with scaffolded instruction for each step. All of this will prepare your English language learners for success on STAR writing. On the grade 4 STAR writing tests, students are expected to write one-page compositions addressing personal narrative and expository. In addition to the composition, 32% of the multiple choice items on STAR focus on revision, and on 68% on editing. In Reach, you will find the step-by-step writing instruction throughout each step of the writing process to prepare your students for every focus on writing instruction. If you would like more in-depth training, the Teaching Success On Demand modules for Reach for Kindergarten, grades 1 and 2 and 3 through 5 provide that. Assessment is critical to instruction and academic success, as you all know. Reach provides many opportunities to check for understanding with the formative assessments, to check understanding, opportunities to assess in all areas, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, unit tests that differentiate by proficiency level, reteaching resources that will help you close gaps before the STAR test and support success on TELPAS, and TEKS test-taking strategies and practice. Make sure you read Jennifer Turner's author monograph, Get to Know Your Learners and Know What They Know, which both address assessment in Reach. If you have a teacher's edition, go to the last page in any unit to see the tested skill and the opportunities when you will assess, the assessment tool resources that are available to assess, and opportunities to review and reteach. All assessment tools for Texas Reach are available online at myngconnect.com. We also have Texas test-taking strategies and practice available on the Texas microsite at www.ngsp.com/Texas that help you teach and practice test-taking strategies, provide opportunities to assess, include guided test reviews, and skill masters that you can use to reinforce, all in advance of the STAR reading and writing tests. And to help you track the grade level TEKS you're teaching, we also have TEKS progress tracking forms for each unit test in reading, grammar, and writing, so you can monitor student understanding of the TEKS by analyzing student performance on the Reach unit tests. These forms are also available on the Texas microsite. We will go over all of the assessment tools in the on-demand modules Teaching Success with Reach in kindergarten, grades 1 and 2, and 3 through 5. One of the questions that we hear from all the teachers that use Reach is, how can I customize the lesson plans in Reach to fit with my schedule? Remember that the Reach Online Lesson Planner has ready-to-go lesson plans for 20, 30, 40, 60, and 90 minutes, plans for use in a dual language model, along with content and literacy focus plans. You can set up your own lesson plans and share them with colleagues. You can even track the TEKS that you have taught and those that still need to be covered. To learn more about this powerful tool, please make a time to view the Reach On-Demand Module 1B, which is a short video tutorial. The last area that we will address in this session is a question that we hear from all of our Reach teachers as well. How can I access the online teaching and student websites for Reach? Well, if you are watching this on-demand module, you probably already registered on MyNG Connect and you used your own login information to sign in. But if you haven't set up an account yet and want to learn more about the resources, please make sure you view the Reach On-Demand Module 1A, which is a short video tutorial to learn about everything that's available on MyNG Connect. Congratulations! You have almost completed the first on-demand module for Reach. This session provided an overview of Reach Texas Edition and all the program components. I also shared some of the specialized strategies in Reach that will help prepare your students. We spent some time focusing in the instructional path in Reach units. We created an awareness about the Reach Online Lesson Planner, and hopefully I piqued your interest in the online resources available in MyNG Connect, which leads to your next steps. Before you attend the next Reach On Demand module, first, study all resources that are available on the Reach in Action Professional Development website, and review your Reach Teachers Edition, including all of the instructional routines. And once your components arrive, get to know all of the teacher and student components. Then, schedule. Take out your calendar and schedule time to view the Reach On Demand training modules for your next grade level. As a reminder, they're listed on the On Demand Training tab on the Reach in Action Professional Development website. Thank you for attending. Don't forget to check the Attachments tab on the left side of the screen for your certificate of completion, and check back soon for your next module.